I'm fine.
This is Colm mcguigan for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Dalton Smith in Phoenix, Arizona. Dalton, we caught up on Saturday after the Haney fight. Just talk to me a little bit about that performance from Devin Haney on Saturday night.
Outstanding performance. Great performance. Didn't put a foot wrong, and yeah, that's a fight what a lot of young fighters can watch and learn a lot from.
When we were doing our interview afterwards, I think Eddie brought you into the interview and then Bill Haney came over. Mm-hmm. Is that a fight that down the line you want and you envisage at this present moment in a couple of fights' time that you will face Devin Haney?
Of course, whoever's the number one and top of the division, they're the fights we want to be chasing. The bigger the fight, the bigger the fight, that's what we're chasing. Like you say, a lot of fighters used to be back in the day, they're chasing the Mayweather fight, and I think Devin Haney is going to be that next one. And if I want to be the best in the division, the number one boy, these are the guys I've got to be chasing down. But of course, I've got to keep on winning, get myself in a position to get these fights.
Eddie spoke about you wanting the headline in Sheffield February, March time, and then move on from there, and then eventually a big fight at Hillsborough. Yeah. The next fight for you, is it going to be someone like Colm, Eubank, or what's next for Dalton Smith?
I very doubt it'll be one of those names. Be more like an international name.
Valenzuela, maybe?
Yeah, them names are on the table. There's nothing cemented yet. There's been a few names put forward, some very good guys, former world champions. So, we're just going to see where we go from there with the negotiations at the minute. But it'll definitely not be one of the British names. We couldn't make those happen.
Why could those fights not be made? Is it just the politics of the sport at the moment preventing those, or is it that the names that maybe Adam Azim, Harlem Eubank, is it that they have rejected the chance to fight you, or has there been no negotiations whatsoever?
Yeah, he's probably a mixture of both, but for me, I tend to just sit back and let my team do what they're doing, let them deal with all the headache on that. But they was trying to push the Harlem fights, the Azim, but obviously he's tied up with his European fight next. So I can't make fights happen.
I spoke to Harlem Eubank ahead of Michael Conlan's fight against Jordan Gill in Belfast, and he said if it wasn't Conor Benn for him next, that he wanted Dalton Smith. So if there was an opportunity that Harlem Eubank said, I want to make this fight happen, Wasserman were open to the idea, would you be open to that idea of that next? I know you've said that obviously you're looking elsewhere, but if it was a possibility?
I asked, I said the Harlem fight. They said no, they want it later, they want more time later. But let's be honest, he's not going to get the Conor Benn fight. He was a boxing fight. You're looking at it, that's not going to happen.
Well, we'll move on from that one. There's obviously been discussions over the weekend that criticisms of Ben Whitaker. You're someone that you've worked with him closely. What do you make of those criticisms, and do you think that maybe people just aren't respecting that is Ben's style and that's how he fights?
Yeah, I said it before. That's not Ben putting any act on. Ben's my guy. We came through the amateurs together from young boys, and I always remember him. We was going to tournaments, in countries people have never, visited. Zero people there watching, and that's Ben's style. He's flamboyant. He likes to showboat a little bit. So he's not just putting it on because there's a camera in front of his face. And his performances are backing it up. So what criticism can you get? And if he keeps on winning, he steps through the levels, keeps on knocking the guys through. He can do what he wants. That's his style, and at the end of the day, it's bringing eyes and it's getting people talking about him.
Another one of your GB teammates, Anthony Joshua, done an IFL interview with Andy McCart last night. Wilder, done an interview with Andy McCart last night where he said that he thinks that Anthony Joshua is mentally weak. Otto Wallen said the same thing last week on an interview with IFL. Do you believe that Anthony Joshua is showing signs of being mentally weak?
I can't judge or comment on what anybody's mental state is. I'm not around them. I don't see them. I only see what people put out on media, and I've learned to know what goes out on media is a fraction of the truth. You know, maybe Anthony just likes to be his own guy now, likes to stay away from that. So, you know, I take it with a pinch of salt what gets said. You know, the only guy who can answer that is Anthony himself. But I mean, he's still in the big fights and he's performing. So, you know, for me, Anthony's just being Anthony.
How do you think he gets on against Otto Wallen in Saudi Arabia?
You know, I think Anthony definitely wins the fight. AJ wins the fight for me. Obviously, it's a bit of a banana skin fight because Otto Wallen is you know, banana skin a little bit. You've seen it against Fury and stuff like that. So he's a good fighter, but you know, I think AJ will come through and become victorious in that fight.
We're obviously here for Sonny Edwards against Bam. You're someone that's knows Sonny inside out. You spent so much time with him. How's he looked in this camp in preparation for this fight?
Yeah, great. You know, he's put the most into this camp than he has at any other fight. I was saying before, we've done 2 training camps in Tenerife, getting a high altitude, the sun. You know, and he's put a lot into these camps. So you know, he's not done that for no reason other than to turn up here fully prepared, the best he can. But obviously, Sonny never stresses. Nothing ever bothers him. And he's here to put on a show and bring back another belt, world title to, you know, to the gym and add to his collection.
Do you think that Sonny needs to be careful in the pocket with Bam, because obviously Bam is a strong puncher, and what weaknesses do you think that Bam has that Sonny needs to exploit on Saturday night? Yeah,
definitely. You know, Sonny's got to be very cautious of Bam. You know, he's a world champion and a big name for a reason. You know, he's backed it up in the ring. But for me, it's the feet. And it always comes down to the feet with Sonny. You've got to, especially at the lower weights, the likes of Bam, you've got to plant your feet to get caught. And Sonny doesn't allow himself to do that. You know, he pivots, he's very good at controlling the distance, frustrating fighters, and he knows when to, you know, turn up the pressure, have a round off. He's very clever, very intelligent.
Do you think that Bam's time out of the ring and the broken jaw will come into effect in this fight?
You know, possibly. But like I say, it's all ifs and buts. The only way we're going to find out is on Saturday night. But you know, even from when the fight first got made, we've been very confident that, you know, Sonny can win this with ease as long as he's switched on, uses his feet and his boxing ability. He, you know, he can put very good performance in this fight.
Well, Dalton Smith, always a pleasure on IFL. Really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm fine.